Tonight on Noir. Former NFL linebacker Edgar Jones is back for more athletic shooting. My final gun review of the season gets fancy with the Cabot Black Diamond. We unveil which guests champion the freestyle course. And the final stage of the challenge determines who gets ultimate bragging rights.
So, dude, welcome to my watch party.
You know, for somebody who's so enthusiastic about having a watch party for the final episode of Noir,
right,
you would think you would have some food, some drinks or something.
No.
No?
I'm gonna make this as painful as possible for you. And that's my goal, always.
Okay, well, I'm here, you're here, watching the final run, final stage of the Noir Challenge, right, and I know what happened, you know what happened.
Yep.
The rest of the world doesn't know what happened.
Right.
But on top of that, this stage is kind of has some sentimental value in terms of that. This was one of the very first freestyle shooting type stages that we've ever run.
Right.
There's even video of you, iPhone video footage of you.
Running the record, 24 seconds, I think.
Well, I mean, the disputed record.
Right.
Yeah. But nonetheless, this is something that is kind of valuable to us. And I kind of approach this understanding what you can do in this stage and what I can do in this stage. However, one caveat is you're injured now.
The hammy was only getting tighter at this point. I knew that if you ran a perfect course, if you ran it perfectly, you're going to beat me because there's no chance that I was going to be able to cover that much ground that's required in the 5.55 to beat you at your best.
Let's stop torturing the folks and take a look at my run.
The final stage of the Noir Challenge keeps it simple, but that doesn't mean easy. Shooters begin with 5 AR-15 hits from the 50 before sprinting to the 10 for 5 hits with their handgun. Then it's gut check time. Forget your fatigue and sprint back to the 50 for 5 final rifle shots on the steel target.
All right, LaSorte, this is the big kahuna right here.
You're
up. You're up, but Colion has got his last stage, and he's going to give you the time you have to beat.
Yes.
Jeez.
Yep.
And
He's got it. He's got it.
it.
He needs to stop shooting.
All right, so he's got to put the rifle down, get the handgun, load the mag, shoot. Are you feeling nervous about this last one?
Yes, I am, because it's like 80 yards of running, and I just don't have the wheels with me right now.
Right.
So he's doing some extra shooting.
Colion, I got your insanely fast 32.52.
So you know the interesting thing about that last run for me was the whole time running back to take those 5 last shots.
Right.
I kept thinking, should I slide?
Right.
Because I know how beneficial it is because I've seen you almost kill yourself trying to slide into a gun. But the whole time I'm thinking, do I need to do this? I mean, I've kind of got this in the bag, no, right? And so I decided not to. Now, the bigger question is, did I need to?
We'll see.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure everybody at this point is like, okay, let's find out what LaSorte did. But no, we're not.
No, because I talked to the editing team, and I'm gonna make it painful for everyone. We're not finding out right now what my run was.
So what are we doing now since you have the editing team in your back pocket?
For now, we're actually gonna hang out with Edgar Jones, NFL player, a guy who knows a little about winning and overcoming long odds. Was I trying to overcome long odds, or was that you trying to overcome long odds?
Man, let's just find out what we did with Edgar.
We are going to have Edgar shoot probably something he has never shot before, which is a $6,000 1911. It's Cabot arms, considered widely. What are you doing?
What?
What are you doing with those?
You said about to shoot the Cabot arms, right?
Yeah?
Yeah, so, I mean...
I said Edgar's gonna shoot the Cabot arms.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just trying to test it out for him first. You know, and you can't shoot a $6,000 gun
Edgar,
without
I'm sorry.
white gloves.
After he's
done...
done...
He's actually came with the Cabot.
Dude, I thought he was getting ready to do a magic trick. Like, seriously. Like,
pull a rabbit out of that.
I'm about to do a magic trick with this gun.
Do a rabbit trick, make me shut up. That's gonna be your magic trick, left hook.
I'm like the tactical Michael Jackson, baby.
So this Cabot Arms is a $6,000 1911. It's the only gun I've ever seen that comes with white gloves in the gun case.
The first time I shot the Cabot Guns Black Diamond 1911, it felt like I was doing something wrong. Like I went to a high-price art exhibition and slid my finger across the canvas to see if the paint was still wet. Clearly, you're not supposed to actually shoot a gun like this, right? Instead, you're supposed to keep it tucked away in your safe until you bring it out on a first date so you can hand it to the girl you met on Tinder and tell her she's holding $6 grand worth of gun. Come to think of it, that's something LaSorte would do. Sometimes with really expensive guns, gun companies try to incorporate too many aesthetic ornaments to convince the world that the gun is worth the high price, and end up making the gun look contrived and forced. With the Black Diamond from Cabot Guns, the design is classic and pure, with tasteful touches of personality like the tri-star trigger that on paper sounds blingy, but in execution makes for a nice touch. The trigger on this gun doesn't so much break as it quietly compresses, the same way the start engine button on an Aston Martin does. The trigger is light and unforgiving if you're not too familiar with light 1911 triggers. I like a really aggressive grip pattern on my 1911s, so the front grip checkering, though good, left me a little wanting. The safety was extremely positive, which I like, because it made the gun feel very well put together. But I can see how it may be too positive for a door kicker who wants more fluid action. I know Cabot touts this gun as a carry gun, a gun you could shoot the snot out of if you so choose. But if I had this gun, it would be my dessert gun. The gun I shot after ripping and running with the gun I used and abused. The perfect exclamation to a day of shooting. I imagine owning a Cabot is like owning a Pagani Huayra. Sure, you'll take it out and push it a little, but you'll never push it to its limits. And you don't care to, because its sheer beauty and knowing what it's capable of is just enough.
So we're gonna shoot at a piece of steel. You have to know you're gonna make your hits. We're absolutely committed to hitting the target, and you're on the clock. So the mental game is you have to be accurate. There's no questions.
You have to hit.
And you have to hit.
So he's rigging this competition to his advantage.
Because I'm an accurate shooter.
I'm just...
And then, but you're also on the clock. So it's the mental control of being able to take control of yourself, knowing that you're only gonna press that trigger when you're absolutely certain it's gonna hit the target. Oh, that's gonna be tough to beat. That is gonna be tough to beat, baby. I feel good about that run.
I'm already nervous.
Oh! Oh man, 2 misses. 2 misses.
Had a pretty good time at the range.
We always do.
Yeah. Mr. Lucky Lefty over here, just lucky left.
I can't stand shooting around a lefty. I mean, I can't play golf with lefties. I can't shoot with lefties. They always throw me off.
I used to hate guarding left-handed people when I played basketball in high school. And unfortunately, what sucks for me is I was that one dumb individual who really thought I could possibly make it to the NBA at one point.
Right.
I had that hoop dream.
That hoop dream.
Yeah, the hoop dream.
Hey, it kept you alive.
And I never understood. My mom was like, just focus on education. So
Right.
just focus on education. She didn't want to kill my dreams, though. She was just like, just focus on education. Just focus on schoolwork. You'll be fine.
She's a smart woman. So were there people who were doubting you, telling you weren't going to be able to do it? I mean, obviously, Colion's mom was being more positive in trying to focus him in on, something that was maybe more important, but anybody who just said you can't do it?
One specific story that I remember, my senior year in high school, I signed my scholarship with Southeast Missouri State.
Right.
So a guy comes up to me in the store, he says, where you going to college? And I was like, I'm going to Southeast Missouri State.
Yeah.
He said, oh, you'll be just like the rest of them. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, you'll go away to college, you'll go away for about a month or so, and you'll come back home.
Really?
Dude, when he told me that, like, that stuck to me.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of everything that I went through in college, like, I just kept that in the back of my head because it made me feel like, you know what? That's a lot of people banking on me coming back home.
Right.
So I'm gonna prove them wrong.
Awesome.
And the challenges presented itself to where I felt like I did want to come home. I tore my ankle up my freshman year in college.
Right.
I was on crutches for like 2 months in the snow. Like I had never been in things like that. And in the back of my head, I was like, man, I want to go home. But I kept thinking about that. And then number two, my mom was like, you're not coming home. Stand up.
So you weren't coming home.
I wasn't coming home.
Were there situations in college or even before where you know that there were players who were way better than you were, and you're the one who made it to the league, as opposed to those guys doing something else?
I mean, it's been a lot of situations where there were players in front of me that I could see the potential. I said, man, this guy's a good athlete, he's a football player. But a lot of times when you see guys that have a lot of great potential as far as just their God-gifted athletic-wise, a lot of times some of those guys don't have to work ethic.
Right.
So just saying to myself, like, you know what, I'm going to outwork this guy. It may be some long days, it may be some long nights, but I'm just going to outwork him. Yeah. And hopefully it may get me to where I need to be at. And it's always paying itself out. I've always tried to be the type of person I try to pay attention to other successful people and how they do things. If you look at a lot of successful people, number one, they work hard, and number two, they have positive thinking.
Right.
And I mean, you get to a point where you think positive. Like, to me, I like writing things down. I like writing positive things to myself. You get to a point where you don't feel like it's a job anymore, it's just what you do.
Right.
Like anything else, you just get up in the morning, you write notes to yourself. Like, it's been times during training camp, I would put a note up in my mirror, so every time I brush my teeth, I would see it.
If you're telling your brain you're gonna succeed and you expect it, failure is gonna be rare. Of course it's gonna happen, but it's gonna be rare. All right, guys, good time on the range today. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Edgar, always good seeing you, man.
He's just, of course, coming out like a madman. But it's going to be all about his movement in between.
Anti-gunners like to think the NRA's power only lives in Washington. Our power comes from 5 million members across the country. We get it from your voice and your votes. And the NRA is stronger with your commitment. Join now for an even stronger NRA.
All right, this is it. We're gonna do the reveal. Was I able to pull it off in a minute or less? That was the math. Was I able to beat you?
Dude,
with the hamstring?
It's just your last run. It's not like we're watching the launching of a space shuttle.
No, it kind of was like that, because I was overcoming long odds here with this injury against a guy as fast as you are. All right, let's go ahead and do it. I think everybody deserves to see the finish. Was I able to beat you?
Let's find out.
Yeah, we're about to see it. He's about to finish up here.
On the bell. 2, 1. 3, 4, 5.
He's just, of course, coming out like a madman.
I can't count, can I?
That's right. Make these ones count.
Yeah. Woo! Okay. Oh, I cannot. Oh, there we go.
All right, good.
Yep.
Down and back.
Oh. I'm not moving too bad, actually.
No, you're looking good, looking good.
Looking good. All right.
5 well-placed shots. Bring home the rest.
All right. Let's do this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Clear. Well, the official time on LaSorte's last run was a 50.54.
Oh, baby!
Man!
10 seconds.
As if it couldn't get any
Shaved him by
closer.
10.
As if it couldn't get any closer.
Give me some love. Give me some love. Nice round there. That was awesome. That was awesome.
Oh,
What a night,
man.
That was cool.
That was really
I have
cool.
to say, I've been shooting for 35 years, yeah. Well, 40 years. I started shooting when I was 4 or something like that. That was the coolest thing I've ever done with a gun. That was just fun.
every part of me right now wants to be livid. But like, just that experience in and of itself.
It is religious.
Nothing can usurp that. Nothing. Like, you could come out here and beat me by an hour. And still, that was just amazing. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like,
I love that you loved it as much as I do, man. It feels like a religious experience to me, honestly. And, you know, the injury, whatever, I mean, I kind of felt like I was going to probably pull a quad or pull a hammy or something at some point, and I did.
For me, the entire day, we knew about this the entire day. We knew.
Last night, man. I lost sleep a little bit
that we were going to go through this entire course all the way through. I mean, for me, it felt like game day.
This honestly is the coolest shooting experience that I've had, and that's neat.
And then
after 30-some years.
I gotta say, like, when I first started shooting, what, 3, 4 years ago?
Yeah.
If that.
It's amazing.
I never thought I'd get to a point where I'm running a 14, 15 stage course, you know, with almost every platform of gun that you could possibly think of, you know?
Right.
And actually hitting shots from 100 yards with a handgun.
So I'll give you a run for your money next 14 course y'all do.
I don't know. I've kind of learned from a lot of the mistakes I made out here, so I might be a different monster.
Can I gloat a little bit?
Don't
Can
you always?
applaud?
Don't you always?
I kind of do. I'm a poor winner, poor loser, all that stuff. But I just want a little applause from you. Can't get it. Not gonna happen. Golf clap. Thanks.
Get a golf clap.
I appreciate it, buddy. Well, the old guy did prevail, even though I was injured. You shot well. You shot very well. You got to be proud of your performance. We put everything we had into that course.
We did. We did. It was definitely something that I want to do again.
So our guests, you know, I mean, they got to run the freestyle field, and we learned a lot from them. We saw how they were running certain stages, especially the one guy who did prevail and do the best. And it was cool because this is athletic shooting. This is something we're starting, and we know now how to make better times. But our guests ran the course like Gary Russell. You know, what did he say?
He told us, he was like, I'm not going to shoot as fast as y'all, but I'm not going to miss either.
And he didn't miss. I mean, I love how confident, I guess, a boxer has to be. He walked in and said, I'm not going to miss, and he just didn't. So Andrew Klein, he pulled his hamstring like I pulled my hamstring. I think that means I should have been in the NFL.
That's not what it means at all.
Rob Pincus, he shot like Rob Pincus wouldn't shoot. Even though he said he hasn't been on the clock forever, he didn't show it, no. Dom shot like a SEAL should shoot. I think the one big surprise out of everybody was probably Edgar Jones. He's a big guy, yes, a professional athlete, but an amazing shooter too. But who took it? Who took it all?
Mr. Haley.
Travis Haley.
Can't say I'm totally surprised.
No, not surprised, and you can't feel bad if we say we lost to Travis Haley. We won't necessarily talk about all the rest.
I didn't lose. I've already lost. I can't lose double. You lost to those people.
Right.
But we did sit down and, you know, we had a talk with Haley about, you know, his thoughts, his mentality behind running the course, and, you know, how he went about doing it. We learned a lot, and so I think it's only right that we share some of that information with the rest of the world.
Let's do it.
Let's take a look. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Looking at my stage times in the competition.
It's over, dude. It's over.
It still makes me feel good.
Oh, you like that old guy living out your glow. Oh, wait, never mind.
You guys always like this?
A little bit. A little bit, sometimes. So,
for the most part.
It's probably no secret now, Travis Haley won the guest competition, the competition in general. For some reason, I don't feel so bad losing to Travis. It was like watching Jimi Hendrix play the guitar. That's what I said when we were actually filming, and I know that embarrasses you probably. So that's why I really don't feel so bad about losing to him, because he's one of the very best at doing what he does.
I think what's interesting is watching what he teaches translate. Because a lot of times you get in situations, it's like, okay, could this guy actually really do these things in real life and actually like execute the moves in different styles that he's teaching me? And then being able to watch him actually do it and demonstrate what he teaches.
Exactly the way he says it. Exactly the way. I mean, I think we've probably told a couple people that he cheated during the competition because nobody could have run it in 7 minutes and 55 seconds.
I told the world he was paying people off to say Bitcoin.
I mean, you just dominated it. So what did you think?
I use competition as a form of testing what I'm doing. It's because I think it's a very important part of the training cycle. I didn't start really finding my performance level in shooting until somebody introduced me to the competitive shooting sports and shooting. And I laughed at it, right? Being a special operations guy, hey, I shoot 50 to 90 to 1,000 rounds a year. And then one of my buddies like, you gotta check this out. I'm like, you mean that stuff where those kids run through the maze and there's like, you know, weird cardboard and stuff everywhere? And he's like, yeah. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. He's like, come on, man, just try it out. And so I go down and I got my 1911 on, you know, I got all my stuff and I'm watching these guys and I'm like, okay. So I run it, I feel like I do pretty good. And then I see the scores at the end, I'm like, I was at the bottom of the list.
Wow.
And I'm like, whoa, I'm supposed to be in my prime right now. And when I started really watching them, and I'm good visually, so I can watch somebody do something and figure it out, so I would record these guys and just play it back. I'm like, okay, why did he just do this right there? What's he doing with his hands? Why is his hand doing this or that, or feet moving? And it's all about, it's about thinking, right?
Yeah. Obviously, you're an extremely fast shooter, an extremely accurate shooter, but I think it was the efficiency of motion.
Well, you always hear me preach the law of least effort.
Right.
It's not about distance, unless you're really thinking about, you know, like in this case, that's where the big deal with me is like, okay, now you gotta run this distance of 100 meters, get into this position. So I remember like, all right, that handgun's laying down there at the, whatever it was, 5 or 10 yard line, and I gotta run down there and bend down, pick it up, stand back up and shoot, or I could just come into that position, stay in the kneeling and just grab the gun and go. So I'm constantly thinking about that because I know there's some really good shooters that, you know, were doing this course of fire. And so if I'm gonna beat those professional athletes and military guys, I'm gonna have to do less.
Yeah.
People ask me like, well, how do you shoot so fast? How are you in the position in life that you're in? It's all the science and everything else that I've been studying, the human body, the neurology, the focus, the hyper-focus, whether I'm sitting there studying 14 stages and going, okay, I need to get into a hyper-focus mode and start really processing this.
Yeah.
And having fun with that and doing visual drills. So I see this like these lines and cones on a piece of paper and I visualize myself out on some type of stage or range going, okay, I'm running through this. All right, there's a shotgun, I'm gonna pick it up and fire 5 rounds. And then I set the shotgun down. How am I gonna set it down? What position am I in? Where am I gonna go from here? Oh, I've gotta go back to the mound. So how am I gonna turn and run? How fast do I need to run based on how far I've already had to go? Where's my breathing cycle gonna be at that point? Do I want to go slower and control my heart rate when I get back to 100 and have to shoot more accurate shots? Or do I just blow balls out and go and get there because I have, you know, my weapon system I'm going to use is going to be a little easier to hit at 100 meters. So I'm thinking about all that, not just grabbing a gun and shooting.
Yeah.
And I find that from everywhere else in life. All the different sports and arts that I've studied, that's where the information comes from. That's the law of everything for me. Like the law of least effort is one of my cheesy little laws. It's like learn as much about everything in life as humanly possible because you'll be surprised at how it translates into what you do.
So here we are, man, end of season 1. And it was a beautiful journey. And I'm really looking forward to season 2.
Yep.
But what I feel like we've been able to do with season 1 has been incredible as far as expanding the conversation about firearms and the gun community as a whole. And I really, 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 really have to thank all of the people that rock with us from episode 1 to where we are right now.
Yep.
Because they really kind of glommed on to Noir and they really kind of associated their personality with it in a lot of ways. And to me, like, that makes me feel awesome. I love it. But what I will say is, with everything that we did with the athletic shooting and everything like that, I think that's awesome. I think it's reached a point now, a point of saturation, where people are going to take it and grow it above and beyond anything that we could have done here on Noir. And I think with season 2, we have a great stage, a great platform now to kind of really take that and grow it and blow it into the stratosphere.
A new frontier. I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you. It was a great time, and I'm excited about the future.
I am too,
season 2.
Let's do it.